A lot of times men carry this burden, the burden of shame, that unless they are feeling an emotion that's anything other than anger, they should be ashamed of it. That they should feel embarrassed or humiliated, as if they did something wrong, or as if they're any less of a man or any less of a human being for feeling these types of emotions. However, all of our emotions are extremely important, and although they may feel overwhelming, these emotions are just parts of yourself. These emotions are just tiny little particles that make up who you are. And you, above all of these emotions, are the self with a capital S in IFS terms. And the self is this highest whole presentness that you are able to take with you. So if you've ever had a moment where you're sitting outside in nature and you can just let your mind relax and not be overwhelmed with thoughts and anxiety, that's you. That's you as the self. And that's such an important thing. But we're all human. And the amazing thing about being human is that we actually have these parts of ourselves. Some of them are very dark. I'm not kidding. I have parts of myself that you guys would never even be able to guess. I had parts of myself that created extreme anxiety, parts of myself that isolated myself because these parts felt like that was the only way that they could be heard. Stay and integrity card coming through in the upright. This is about allowing yourself the space to get in touch with these very difficult emotions without being overwhelmed by them, and with the knowing that although these emotions are difficult and tough, you are not just your trauma, you are not just your pain, you are not just these emotions. However, these emotions are valid and they're coming up for a reason. And I know the more that we shove them down, the more these emotions inevitably get lost somewhere within the body and the mind. The body is inside of the mind. The mind is everywhere. With the communication card coming through in the upright, this is about being able to communicate with your emotions in perhaps a different way that you've ever tried before. And you can hire somebody like a therapist or a coach to help you through these emotions and through facing your fears. A lot of times we get so overwhelmed with the stress and the anxiety about getting in touch with these emotions that carry the burden of shame, that carry the burden of disappointment. We don't want to get in touch with those emotions because we're afraid we'll feel the same way that we originally felt at that time and at that place of when this emotion was triggered. But there are ways to heal from these emotions and to heal with these emotions. It's not about trying to cut off emotional aspects of yourself. A lot of times what I see within the Stoic community and within Stoicism and that type of philosophy is sometimes people will use Stoicism as an excuse to be disconnected, to not be getting in touch. And really what makes somebody so stoic, in other words, is actually being able to feel through those emotions, not without. With the avoid drama card coming through, I almost said avoid trauma. With the avoid drama card coming through, we can completely understand though why just the simple idea of getting in touch with those emotions and being vulnerable and talking about them again can be so scary, especially for men, because so many men in our society carry the burden that they're not meant to feel those emotions, that they're weaker if they feel those emotions. And unfortunately, these ideas, because of media and because of other role models and types of things that you take in your life, they get embedded into your psyche at a very young age. I've seen this happen firsthand, and it's tough. This is a way of your body surviving, your mind creating a defense mechanism. Human beings are so intelligent, our minds are so intelligent that we will then create complex webs sometimes. Complex webs within the mind that can make change and transformation really, really difficult. So when it comes to the process of getting in touch with your emotions, and when it comes to the process of change, it's going to take time. It's going to take patience. And it's about accepting responsibility. If you want to heal, you have to really want it bad. It's okay to cry. And in fact, if you can cry, I admire you for it. I think you're stronger for it. It's so counterintuitive, but we think that just because a man doesn't cry, that somehow he is stronger or something like this. But with the Seek Healing card coming through, what we must understand is that that idea is slightly juvenile. That idea doesn't actually encapsulate and encounter all of the aspects of reality that makes somebody self-actualized. That idea doesn't include that. It's a juvenile sort of fantasy. Maybe there have been women in your life that have unfortunately prohibited you from feeling these emotions, that unfortunately also placed the burden that society placed on all men upon you. And that takes a lot of time with the self-regulation card coming through. You could have had a mother that easily disrupted your emotional well-being and that easily caused great pain. But there is a chance to release from that. There truthfully is. But this starts with feeling your emotions. And I think a lot of times, like, society puts this idea, oh, if you're strong, that's all that matters. But what a lot of women truly desire, if you will, or let me just speak for myself, what I desire is a man that's open to healing, a man that's willing to work on himself, a man that's willing to face his emotions. That's what makes a man brave and courageous, in my opinion. Enchanted card coming through. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you did hate this video, understand I'm open to hearing your feedback. I'm not trying to jump the gun on anything. And I understand where you are coming from. And I want you to feel heard on this channel. So leave a comment down below and I will see you guys in a later video.